appreciate you coming back here today. I've got a special guest, someone that I've really looked up to in a lot of different ways over the last year and a half. Once I was aware of his channel and his podcast, got the ex-heavyweight champion David Rodriguez on the show today. Welcome, David.
Thank you for having me. I had to put my blue blockers on for the light.
No, dude, it's my pleasure. I know you're incredibly busy, so I appreciate you carving out just a few minutes today. As we were chatting a little bit before, my podcast here, Life After Addiction Indictment, really my focus with that is to help people reclaim their life that are allowing their past to get in the way of their future and reclaim it through entrepreneurship. And so with some of the things that, you went through with your alcoholism and then what you're doing now, and also how, we'll talk a little bit later about how to do things local, et cetera, because that's entrepreneurship as well. And so I just, really respect the hell out of you, man. And I have
Thanks,
a
man.
fairly good idea of what you've been through just because I've listened to you a lot, but, I don't really know your full story. So, what was it like, growing up? What was your family life like and things like that?
Well, what I thought was normal. I mean, who says their childhood is really quote unquote normal? But growing up in a Mexican culture, city or town back in those days, El Paso on the border was a different upbringing, man. I mean, you grow up really fast. Throughout my life, I was bullied pretty heavily growing up.
That's hard to believe, knowing what you are
yeah,
now.
I didn't always used to be this size,
Yeah.
but it just started at a very young age of 5 years old, went on to about, I was traumatically bullied probably around 13, 14, 15. And then that's when I
Really?
snapped out of it, probably around 16, 17 years old. But growing up in the border town of El Paso, you're exposed to a lot of things that other people aren't in the nation, or the rest of the world. You have a third world country. You have Mexico to your disposal.
Right there. Is it Juarez right there? Is that where Juarez, right across the border?
Juarez, Mexico, which is was for a while the most dangerous city in the world, and the murder capital of the world. So it wasn't, when we used to go party over there, we grew up really fast. It was fun. It was like the Las Vegas for high school kids, man. I mean, I would never trade it for anything in the world. I had a blast. Greatest times of my life were there. But you grow up fast and you grow up drinking. But, I started going there when I was about 14 years old, 13, 14 years old. And they don't check your ID. You can show them a fake ID. Oh, it's fine. They don't even look at it. Walk right into the bar, start having a drink, and it's $5 drink and drown. So $5, you pay $5 and drink all you want in the bar. Wow. And so high school kids really took to this. And it wasn't before long until I was in high school and throwing parties there with my friends and making about $2,500 to $3,000 a weekend or on a night. So for high school, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of change. And doing that every other weekend or whatever. The way we used to do it was print out flyers. There was no social media back then. So you print out a bunch of flyers, make stacks of the flyers, and just go throw them all over the parking lots of high schools. And we'd go hit multiple high schools and just throw these flyers in each high school, and they just scatter all over the parking lots. People pick them up and look at it and say, oh, Cosmos, oh, Sarawaks, oh, Tequila Derby, oh, we got to go to La Playa party at La Playa this weekend. And, you go talk to the owners of the bars and make a deal with them. And I'd get like $1 to $1.50 a head or $2.
Did you always have that entrepreneur DNA in you then?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's just the way we did. All my friends were doing it. So it wasn't irregular. A lot of people were doing this. And then, of course, you go to Juarez and fights break out. And next thing you know, the whole bar is being torn up. Everyone's getting thrown out. You're getting arrested by the Mexican police. I mean, this is the way it was back then. Now it's different. Now it's like, I don't even know if kids really go there anymore. I'm not sure about it. I'm not really dialed in. It's a lot. Back then it was like innocent fun. It was pre 9/11.
Yeah.
It was before the big paranoia of terrorism and all this, and the customs wasn't the way it was. You literally could walk over and just say American, and they just let you over. You could be drinking and they let you over. You could be vomiting and they let you over. It didn't matter. So the growing up like that led to addiction, and you had pharmacies at your disposal. So in other words, we'd go there and have the bar, and next door to the bar was the pharmacy. So we'd go get drunk at the bar and then go load up on testosterone, pain pills, whatever we wanted, and then bring it, smuggle it over, and sell it to the high school kids or college kids. We'd go to the football team, the UTEP football team, and give them steroids and pain pills and whatever they needed, B vitamin shots. I mean, we would bring it all over. Because they didn't have the balls to go smuggle it, right? But we did. We were like, who cares? I mean, I swear, I can't believe the amount of drugs I smuggled over the bridge because of just, I mean, not even realizing the trouble you can get into. I look back now,
exactly.
I can't believe I did that. Like, it was like,
when I was like
no big deal. We were laughing and giving each other high fives, walking that stuff over. And it's just incredible to me that I used to do that. I
when I was in my addiction, dude, there's a couple buddies, we flew to San Diego, walked into Tijuana, got a bunch of hydrocodone, smuggled across, came home. I mean, I would never, like you said, the consequences if you got busted, that's crazy. I would never do that as a sober person. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's like now I would never dare even attempt that. Sorry about my dogs. Hey,
oh, no worries. It's not a problem.
Sorry, they like, hey, I'm working here. I'm working.
I've heard them once or twice before. They're good dogs.
So yeah, they love to interrupt me. So it was really growing up like that and around friends that smuggled and did drugs, and it was like, man, it was a way of life for us. I didn't know any different because all my friends, we'd all go to a bar, pop some pain pills, and get drunk and be high on pain pills and alcohol.
Oh yeah.
But that was normal. That was not
crazy.
That was just what we did. And then my friends were more of the rowdy crowd, crazier type guys. A lot of them are dead and in jail now, and some are leading a good life, have families. It's either they went to jail and learned from it, or they died, or a lot were killed in the drug wars in Juarez. I lost a lot. I lost like 9 friends over there from just extortion and just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But growing up like that was just the way it was, and that led to addiction. That led to 20s drinking, 30s.
So you were able to do it socially, just have fun and stuff for quite some time. And then what age did you start boxing and like get serious about that?
That's the crazy thing, is boxing did save my life. It pulled me out of the streets and it pulled me out of the craziness to a degree, but I still had that wild hair in my ass. I still wanted to get out there and get in trouble and do illegal shit. So it took about 70% of it away. But boxing, I started fighting at about 14, 15 years old. I knocked out the junior Olympic champion on my very first fight, fight with no experience. I knocked out the junior Olympic champion, and then I just knew that this was for me. This is what I wanted to do. And literally turned pro at about 21, and my life just took off. But I always juggled alcoholism and boxing. So I was always, and I thought I had no problem. I really did. I thought there was no problem because, like, that's just the way I grew up. So like boxing, and then I'd go into training camp and be clean for about 2 months. And then right when I was done, I was like, oh, that means I used to call it going to jail. I used to call going to training camp going to jail. So I'd say, lock me up and throw away the key. I was not with any women. I wasn't doing anything. I was just training.
Wow.
And I'd go batshit crazy. Finally, the climax, the fight happens. It's over. Whoa, I'm fine. It's all done. I'm more relieved than I am excited. I'm happy I just knocked the guy out, won another fight. Then what would happen? I'd go into my locker room at the arena and start pouring it down, man. I mean, I'm really talking like there was 2 or 3 shots at a time, 2 or 3 drinks at a time, beer, then go out, sign autographs, be completely
hammered,
annihilated, drunk. And
that's
people
crazy. You were able to turn it off and go to, so to speak, to jail. And then that's crazy. That's not easy, man. I mean,
I can't believe I juggled it for as long as I did.
So to be honest. How many years then did you fight professionally?
Where it didn't do anything, where I was able to juggle it, I was still good until I was about 35. So about 15 years of that life, I was going hard. And then at about 35 years old was the karma tab. That's when God said, your bill is here to be paid, sir. And that's when 2011 is when I overdosed on drugs and I was brought back with a defibrillator. I was in cardiac arrest.
So I knew this happened, but I haven't heard the actual story. So
It was
an
after a
overdose?
fight.
Okay.
Yeah, it was after a fight, and my friends were throwing me a party in Dallas, and I got on the plane completely drunk. It was after I knocked the guy out, was gonna go celebrate, got on the plane completely wasted. Show up to Dallas, they pick me up, give me some Adderall, I popped some pain pills, start drinking on the way to the club, get to the club, drinking, pop some more pain pills, pop another Adderall, now my heart's racing, Then I was like, man, I need to come down. So someone offers me GHB, and that's like the date rape drug, right? So they handed it to me in a flask, and they said, no, just take a capful of this stuff. And I took the whole flask and I drank the whole thing.
Oh man.
And then that's all I remember. And then everything is like third-party accounts of what happened. Like people telling me that, or saying when I heard this later, that basically I just started turning blue, drool started coming out of my mouth. I dropped out right there. People were stepping over me, walking, like they didn't even want to stop partying. Even my own friends didn't want to stop partying. They're like, he'll be fine, he'll sleep it off. And the girl that was next to me was like, she started grabbing people and saying, he's turning blue, he's dying, your friend is dying. Nobody cared.
Wow.
They just wanted to keep going. And then there was just a few of them. The bouncers came because they didn't want the liability in the club. They didn't want me to die in the club. So they grabbed me, and I don't remember any of this, but I was told this. They picked me up, about 6 of them, and they were still dropping me, bumping my head into stuff, walking me out, went to the back alley and threw me out in the alley.
No way.
Yeah. And then
holy hell.
She saw this, who was an off-duty nurse, and saw all this, and she ran outside and she started taking my pulse and saw that my pulse was hardly even there, and called 2 of my friends and said, I'm going to hold you responsible for this if he dies. Well, they went, like I said, this was all told to me afterwards. And then, so they went, got the car or the truck, whatever it was, van, I don't even know what it was. They pulled me in and they started racing to the hospital, going like 110 miles an hour through the freeway, just going in and out of traffic. I don't remember any of it. They get to the hospital, pull me out, throw me out onto the cement. The hospital doctors and nurses run out, start doing CPR. I don't remember any of this. And then next thing you know, I'm waking up to all these doctors standing over me in the hospital bed, not even knowing what happened. As I remember, it was all fog. I was like, what happened? And they were saying, we almost lost you. They're like, we almost lost you. You were gone.
Wow.
And that's at the point I knew I had a problem, because at that very moment I said, man, why didn't you just let me go? And I was very mad, like angry, like almost like demon possessed. Wow. And that's when they called Suicide Watch, and they brought in some nurses to come in and watch over me. And they were there the whole time. I was in the hospital for probably about 8 or 9 days. I was in ICU for about 4 days, 5 days, and then went into I don't remember how long. And then I went into a regular room and just watch. And then that was the same year. That same year, I came back and won 2 fights, won 2 belts. Came back right after that situation. Came back, won 2 more belts that year, and then got knifed.
Yeah, how did that happen? Because I know you got the scar and stuff.
Yeah,
how did that take place?
Walking out of a club, I think there was an altercation in the club. It was in Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, and I don't remember. I was hammered, drunk. That's why I don't play victim. Just and next thing you know, there's some kind of altercation. I remember some guys surrounding me, and
dang,
it was like just ripped my throat open, and I mean blood just went just started pouring out everywhere, and I knew right then and there I was dead. And that was the most fear I've ever had in my life, was when I was looking at my own blood pour out of my neck. I was like, I'm dead. This is it.
Holy cow.
And then my friend comes running up to see what's going on, and then I see him go like this, and they start knifing him, they start stabbing him viciously.
Holy crap.
And then he falls on top of me, and I'm just, blood's going everywhere, and I'm fading out, and he's looking at me, and I remember him looking at me saying, I'm so sorry, man. Oh my gosh. And he was gushing blood too. And the next thing you know, I wake up again, I black out, and then I remember a girl, or I just remember a set of high heels running towards me, and the girl had a scarf because it was in December, and she tied this scarf around my face and lifted up my neck, and she tied it real tight to save blood.
Yeah.
For her, she saved my life. So both times a woman saved my life.
Damn, bro.
Then I'm in the hospital. I'm in the emergency. I'm in the ambulance, and the paramedics are dropping syringes, fumbling everything, and they're panicking, and they're like, stay with us, don't fall asleep. And I just looked at them, and I saw that my blood was all over them. Like, I remember they were covered in my blood inside the ambulance. And I remember telling them, this calmness came over me. Like, it was from God. This calmness came over me and said, I'm with you. Like, I felt like God was with me. And I just looked at the EMS, whatever.
Yeah.
I looked at them and I said, hey man, I go, relax, I'm clean. Because I knew they were probably wondering like what kind of blood diseases I've had. Because they were filled, they were
everywhere,
just completely red. And then that was it. I laid my head back and didn't wake up till a day and a half later. And I just remember waking up with my face swollen to here, stitches. There was a cosmetic surgeon on call that night, a really good one that I got lucky to get, and he stitched up my face, like reconstructive, like I'm talking about 369 stitches. And when that happened, then I knew I had a problem. I knew like I'm going down the wrong path.
Yeah.
But still, even through all that, I was like, I'm going to get back in the ring. And, you know, I was in the top 10, and I wanted to just prove myself. I wanted to come back and prove myself. You know, I was 36-0, 34 knockouts. And I was like, I just wanted to get back in the ring.
Dude, that was a hell of a record.
But I feel like I got in prematurely. I went back into training camp, and a lot of things happened. You know, I left my team. I was blaming everybody but myself at the time.
Yeah.
Left my team, went with a different team, signed with Main Events Boxing. And the first fight I went back to in the ring, I got knocked out. And I was winning that fight, and I still got knocked out. Like, my head wasn't right. Nothing about me was right. The energy was off. You know, everything was off. And so that happens. And then I get back in the ring again. I get knocked out again. So now I'm 36-2.
Wow.
And after all that, I still kept going and won the last fight. I knocked the guy out in the first round, but as I was running to the neutral corner for them to start the 10 count, I remember my back just went out. Like, I remember my legs went numb. I felt my feet, a sharp pain in my back, and that was it. And I knew at that moment, the stabbing, the overdose, all that's not going to take me out of boxing, but this back injury, this is it. And I knew when I was there, I knew when they raised my hand and I won and all that, I was like, this is it. It's over. And went back to the dressing room, laid down, put my legs on the couch. They pulled my trunks off. I was screaming. I was yelling, and went into emergency surgery. That didn't help.
Wow.
I went to another 8 months.
Flipped. You don't even know. It just kind of.
Yeah. My L4, L5 just collapsed on itself.
Wow.
Shot the discs out, and I needed emergency surgery. But the first surgery didn't help. I went to a second surgery about 6 months after that, and then that one helped. I mean, I was never able to return back to the ring, but it fixed like the pain, the chronic pain.
I mean, I could be off here, but like, sounds like maybe you had other things maybe that it was time for, and you just loved that boxing maybe, and you know, it almost took that to have you say, wait a minute, you know, it's my time, you know.
Yeah, God wanted me out of there, man.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no other way I can look at it, because I was determined to be heavyweight champion of the world, and I was determined to do this, and I would not take no for an answer. So, you know, my life was spared twice. I had no idea why I was alive when I went back and lost twice, and then I thought my destiny was to be champion, and then that didn't happen, and then I ended up retiring because I had no choice. I couldn't fight with a bad back. It was that bad.
Yeah,
it is that bad. And from 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 7 years, probably about 8 years, really. I was just in severe dark depression, alcoholism, popping drugs, doing stuff. But even through all of that, I never gave up my faith in Jesus Christ and God. I always, that faith got me through the darkest of times. And I knew I was going to come back. I knew I was going to bounce higher some way, some shape, some form. I was going to come back higher. And
Well,
It wasn't
I mean, I
until
definitely know, at least I believe I know, this is, I'm assuming, but as I've heard you for, over a year now and know the impact you're having on probably millions of people, God works in mysterious ways, man.
I didn't see this coming. I didn't
Yeah.
see
I mean,
this
I've heard you
coming.
say that over and over and over. And,
Yeah, I didn't try to be an influencer. I didn't want to be an influencer. I wasn't out. That wasn't my goal. I wanted to be
Right.
champion of the world, not some influencer.
Yeah.
Because I had someone come up to me at the airport the other day and say, "Hey, you're the YouTuber guy." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
don't say that." I was like, don't say that word. Don't say that word.
When boxing ended, did you feel like, because you said you went into dark depression for 7-8 years. I get
I wanted to
that.
die. I wanted to kill myself. I
Yeah.
was
Do
planning
you
a
feel
way to
like a lot of it was because you lost your identity? You weren't David the boxer,
everything,
right?
everything.
Yeah.
And I knew it was over. And I was like,
Yeah.
everything I went for since I was
That is such
5
a
years
huge
old.
thing. Yeah.
Everything I went for at 5 years old is done. It's gone. It's over.
Yeah.
And now I'm the loser at the bar. I'm the guy that washed up drunk at the bar. Women didn't look at me the same. My friends didn't look at me the same. I lost that aura. I was the champ everywhere I went. Champ, free meals, free this, free that, free drinks, whatever. Now that wasn't happening anymore. It was a massive blow to my soul and my ego, like everything. My ego died. I was even to the point where I was broke. I had no money. I was thinking to myself, well, I guess I could be homeless. That didn't scare me. Death didn't scare me. I just accepted the absolute worst in life, like the absolute worst. But I still found time, even through all this, as bad as I felt, I still found time to go speak at schools, high school auditoriums, elementary school auditoriums. I went and spoke about bullying to kids because I felt like I let myself and God down. So I at least had to make up for it by giving my time to the kids and talk about bullying, being bullied. And I did it. I didn't get paid $1.
Right. And
There might have been a couple times they paid me a couple hundred.
I'll bet you that was probably very close to his fulfilling, if not more than any fight you won.
No, I was depressed. I wanted to cry every time I went on stage because I knew that you don't understand it was fulfilling to see kids' lives changing, but I still felt like the loser. I was like,
I see. Gotcha. Yeah.
I felt like I just failed, and it was just a horrible feeling. But I knew I had to pay. How do I explain this? I felt like I had to pay my dues back to God for failing. I don't know how to explain it better than that. I just felt like I had to go speak to these kids, and maybe God would have
yourself up, and you just didn't feel like you were worthy to yourself. Honestly, is what I said.
Yeah. Like, why do they want to hear some guy that failed on stage talking about being bullied? But I mean, I didn't. Looking back, hindsight now, I'm like, wow, what? I was a champion, 6-time champion boxer. But I thought about those 2 losses all the time, and it erased all the 36 wins. 37 wins. Right. But to be honest with you,
it did to you, but it didn't to everybody else.
Right. They looked at it was like
it's a hell of a record.
Yeah, but to me, it was what's the point? I lost twice at the point, and so I gave back to the kids, and I did that for about. I mean, I was showing up smelling like a liquor cabinet to these schools. Have you ever seen that movie, Dirty Santa? Dirty Santa, where the guy's like an alcoholic and he plays, he's Santa, and he's like, I think it's Billy Bob Thornton plays the role.
Okay, yeah.
So I was a stinky ass drunk showing up in a suit and tie, bloated, hungover from the night before, maybe taking a couple shots before I go on stage, and just talking to kids about about being a winner in life and all this junk and honestly, I just no money, nothing. It was just
wow.
I didn't know what I felt like my whole world blew up. I was picking up the pieces. I had nowhere to go. And really, if anyone could learn from this, is what I learned was rock bottom had a basement. I keep saying that over and over and over because
that's a great line.
That I was such in a dark place, man. Like there was no pulling me out of it. I was done. I wanted to die. I was like, I just want to die. That's it. I didn't want to be alive. I was like, please, God, I was praying, God, please take me to the heart attack. However you could take me, get me out of here. I just didn't want to be here anymore.
Well, I get that because I've been in that place, not as long, but I've definitely been in it. And, the fact that, you got sober 2 years, ago, 2 years and about 26, 7 months now. I mean, that's a hell of an accomplishment, people that fight that and addiction, it is not easy, man. And so that is something I know, if you're not proud as I think you are, you should be, because that's every bit as hard as going to training camp.
Yeah, it is.
It's
especially
difficult.
when it first happened, the viral video hit.
Yep.
And I was just like 2 or 3 months into my sobriety, and then my dad gets put in the hospital for he needs a heart valve transplant. And my dad's 85 at the time, and I thought I'm going to lose my dad, and he's my best friend. And let me tell you, I was praying the rosary every night. I wanted to go back to drinking, but I didn't. I stayed strong. I just went, like, I got tested right out of the gate. Like when I went sober,
great.
I got tested. Boom. Oh, you sure you want to do this? You think you can do this?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Like whether it was Satan, whether it was God, I don't know. But I knew they were I was being tested. I knew I was being tested, and I just didn't falter, man. I was talking to my good friend 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗴𝘂𝗂𝗏 probably every day on the phone, the guy that played Jesus.
He's incredible.
And he was praying with me. So I felt like I had,
That's
Jesus
cool.
praying with me on the phone.
How did you meet him? By the way, 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗴𝘂𝗏, for those of you that don't know, he played Jesus in Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson's show. How did you meet Jim?
Jim, I consider him not even a friend. I consider him a brother.
Yeah.
Like we talk still every day.
That's awesome.
I guess I met him 15 years ago, maybe a little longer, in San Clemente, California, for dinner. A surfing agent wanted to talk to me about endorsing some stuff, or so. I don't remember how it went down. And he brought Jim with him. He was friends with Jim, and ended up having dinner with Jim and talking. And I remember Jim was real stressed out that day. I was like looking at him like I could tell you didn't want to be there until we started talking, and then he started like lightening up, and then it was just a really good conversation. The next day he invites me to his house, and I'm at his house in Malibu, watching movies with him, having a cookout, relaxing, laughing, having a good time. And it's like we just hit it off, and
he clicked. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, he just became a great friend of mine, and we still are to this day. And he when I lost my sister, when my sister died, Jim was there for me.
And she died from alcoholism, didn't she?
Yep.
Her liver shot.
Yeah, she died of alcoholism. The last
Jeez.
2 or 3 years of her life was really bad. And she died, and then Jim was there for me, and then Jim was there for me with my father this last time. And my dad hasn't passed. He's thank God he's doing well.
You're taking care of your folks, right?
I take care of them. I have decided that I'm going to see him all the way through. The way through.
That is
to the end.
That is remarkable. I lost both my folks about 3 years ago, 11 months apart, but it was interesting because, and I'm only going to say this little bit just so people understand how easy it is for us to forget the things that matter most because we take them for granted.
Yeah.
As my dad, we knew was dying, he was on hospice and basically drugged up to make him comfortable. Me and my siblings, I'm blessed to have all of them right here in the same county, 5 siblings. And so we spent every day there, and why does it take something like that for us to be together like that? If we all said next week we are going to hang out for 8 hours a day, we would all have reasons we couldn't, and so I only share that because, dude, it almost chokes me up because I know how close you are to your dad, your parents,
my best friend.
As you say it many times on your shows, you're taking to dinner or whatever. And it's just, dude, that's what it's all about, and they're very, I guarantee you, they're so grateful to have you, and the fact that you could have given up and you could have died, but knowing your story now and knowing the impact you've had on waking people up to the truth of what's happening in our country and in the world and has been for decades. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind why you didn't die, dude. I mean, because certain people only resonate with certain people, and I resonate with you as well as hundreds of thousands of others. And I believe millions obviously have heard your show. And so, it's interesting because I see how what I went through, with addiction and a federal indictment, federal prison, how for 8 years after I got out, I've been out 11 years, how I let my past get in the way of my future. I didn't know who I was. And so I understand your story. It's like, damn it. Like you said, 7 to 8 years, I was 8 years because it was all right here.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Prison of your own mind.
Exactly. And I didn't have any confidence. I didn't know what I was going to, my career defined me before, I had a very successful business. And then I was just lost. And
I honestly feel like I'm on bonus time anyway. So that's why people say, aren't you scared? The government, this and that. I'm like, I should be dead.
Dude, you're doing God's work now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like God's hands on this. And as long as I keep up my end of the deal and not drink, I feel like I have some kind of weird spiritual contract or something. Like, I just feel like
Dude,
I can't give in. And believe me,
he needs personalities like yours and other people's. I have a lot of that. I believe too, that once we believe in something more passion, just like you love that fighting so much that you could turn off and go to jail and turn off the drinking and all that. That is so damn hard, and to be able to now get in and be willing to speak the way you speak about what's happening and has happened and have no fear. That's what it's going to take, because so many people I'm like you. I get fired up about how could these people be so stupid and asleep still,
it blows my mind, but
It
at
is
the same
hard
time, I got to
to
remember
understand.
not everybody is at the.
I hear Juan talk to you and get you in check, and it hits me too, because we have to understand that, hey, they come from a totally different place than us. They don't understand because they are hypnotized,
It
it's
is
just
like
hard
that.
to understand, even though I understand,
It's 100% that, because
yeah,
some people are still asleep, or their pride's not letting them wake up. It's
Yep.
like they don't want to admit the mistake they made with this guy Biden.
Yep.
It's really what's happening right now. There was really, now that I think about it, I often talk to Juan and be, why didn't the military just move in and just get no, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked that way, because people have to wake up.
Yep.
It has to be this way. Unfortunately, for those that are awake, it's painful. But it's painful for everybody right now. But the truth is the society had to be red pilled. They have to be red pilled. The Great Awakening has to happen on its own. Yep. Trump couldn't just be jump right back in there and do it, because it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have been organic. It has to happen this way. So now that I understand that, I see the spiritual element in all of this, and I'm like, wow, this is all God's timing. Yes. That's it. It's all God's timing. I've been guilty of moving the goalpost, because I really thought things were going to happen by March of 2021, April. I can't believe we're in this still.
Yep.
But I understand it to the point now where I understand the spiritual component, the spiritual concept of all this, and it's God's timing. And people need to wake up. He doesn't want to lose not even one of his sheep.
That's right.
So that's why.
Well, man, I know you're busy, and like I say, I appreciate your time. Tell us real quick where people can find you. I'll put all this in the show notes as well. And then just hit on your book and, where people can get that. I imagine it's on Amazon, isn't it?
Right here.
Yeah. So when the lights
show it every
go
morning.
out,
yeah, from survivor to champion.
That's awesome.
And that book was written as a goodbye book to my family, because I was going to kill myself.
Are you kidding me? Holy
That's
hell,
true.
Dude. I've got it. I got to read it now. Holy crap. That's crazy.
So then I decided to publish it and put it out there, because I felt like it could help some people. And that's why I just thought it could help some people. But now that my life is completely turned around, all I want to do is help people. Like I just use me as an example. Yeah. Exactly. That's it. At the end of the day,
it's all relationships. It's all just coming together.
And let me say this, at the end of the day, when I was on my deathbed in the ambulance, when I was bleeding out, I'll never forget. I didn't think about how many belts I won, the money I made. None of that mattered. I didn't think about what I accomplished in life. None of that you think about. You think about God, and you think about your family. And if you don't believe in God, believe me, when you're on your deathbed, you'll be thinking about God. You'll be thinking about God real quick.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's just the way it is. And I was thinking about my family, and I was saying prayers to my family about why I was saying, God, I was talking to them in my head saying, sorry, I can't believe I let you guys down. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I'm going to die this way. So those are what you think about. You don't think about what you have. You don't think about the money you're making and this and that. No, you don't even think about the good times you had. You just think about your family and saying goodbye. That's it. And God, that's it. So hopefully that leaves people with something to chew on. And I'm glad to come on your show. My Telegram is Nino's Corner. My Getter is Nino's Corner. Twitter is Nino Boxer. And then obviously my YouTube is David Nino Rodriguez, and Instagram Nino's Truth. and David Nino Rodriguez Boxer.
And Nino's Corner.tv. If you really want to hear David talk, some fantastic guests. I've had that for months and months, and it's right here. So
it's that's where all my fringe content goes.
That way you can talk openly, freely, without censorship, and get your YouTube shut down. Well, David, man, I appreciate your time, brother. I hope to stay in touch. I'll shoot you an email so I can get a few other things from you that I'll put in the show notes. Then I want to get your address, send you a couple things as well. So I'll email you, and if you'll shoot me that, that'd be great.
You got it. Thank you so much.
Hey, brother, appreciate your time, and we'll be in touch. Take care, buddy.
God bless you. God bless you.
Thanks.
Thank you.